So we've got this going on with Big Tish James. She's getting smacked down. At the same time, the overall Democrat Party is getting smacked down. It's absolutely amazing stuff. Before we get into our next story of the day, please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit that notification bell. Even if you've already subscribed, go back and check your notifications. YouTube loves to turn them off for people, especially when it's conservative content. So like, comment, subscribe, let us know how we're doing. Now let's dive into our next story. You know that we've all been covering the fleeing Democrats, the Texas Democrats who fled Texas to the uber gerrymandered states of New York, Massachusetts, and Illinois in order to basically derail the democratic process. So in order to protect democracy, they essentially spat on democracy and stopped it from happening inside Texas. Well, all those people eventually FAFO'd to the point that they returned. They returned late last week, early this week, and the inevitable happened. Let's check in with some Texas politics right here in my own home state. Good stuff. Here we go.
Occurs on passage to engrossment of House Bill 4. This is a record vote. Clerk, ring the bell. Serves 100 voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? 88 ayes, 52 nays. House Bill 4 passes to engrossment. Members, it is the intent of the chair.
88 to 52, House Bill 4 passes in the Texas State House, which redraws the district lines in the state of Texas, essentially netting the Republicans 5 new seats. So the new district breakdown essentially all but ensures that Texas Republicans will occupy 30 of Texas's 38 congressional seats, Democrats only getting 8. And it does 2 major things. One, it nets the Republicans 5 essentially, solid red seats in the midterms. So that's +5 for the Republicans, -5 for the Democrats. And as you all know, there are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. The Republicans have been holding a slim 2, 3, 4, 5 seat majority, depending on the status of special elections. Essentially, 218 is what they need for a majority. They've got 220 to essentially 215. Right now, I think it's 220 to 213 because there are 2 pending special elections. So we've got 220 to 213. Well, as we head into the midterms, this essentially moves that balance to 225 to 208, meaning what this means for the midterms is that the Republicans really only need to win 3 what they call toss-up or contested seats. They need to win 3 contested districts across the country out of 435 in order to maintain the House, in order to block the Democrats from getting the speakership, in order to block the inevitable investigation, impeachment nonsense that we got in the second half of Trump's first term. So while this is going on, you've got the California, Gavin Newsom is trying to do the same thing in California. He's vowing that he's going to redistrict California, which has already been gerrymandered almost out of existence, in order to reclaim those 5 seats. However, they're facing some serious problems. Before we draw out, I want to get into the Fox take on this, and then we're going to get into the California situation as we talk about everything that's going on with redistricting. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's about time the Republicans started to learn how to fight this fight. Let's dive in with the Fox News report on this. Here we go.
Breaking tonight, Texas Republican legislators have just won their fight over redistricting. Just moments ago, the state House vote is now final. The bill aims to provide 5 additional congressional seats for the GOP. Correspondent Garrett Tenney shows us what's happening from Austin, Texas tonight. Good evening, Garrett.
Yeah. What we've got is the Republicans now netting 5 seats. Now let's dive into what California is trying to do in order to countermand this, at least what Newsom is trying to do, which is going to be very hard for him because, check this out.
California lawmakers returned to Sacramento today. They're back in session, and they're going to be taking up this issue of redistricting. And so Republican lawmakers for sure had a lot to say today. Some of them are even calling for a federal investigation to determine exactly how congressional Democrats and California Democrats came up with these new boundaries that are, again, intended to neutralize the gains that Texas could make in 2026. Now, this week is set to have a series of public hearings. We're going to be hearing from Californians, and the cost of having a special election is also going to be discussed. Now, lawmakers are set to vote on this proposed map on Thursday, and if it passes, then a special election would be held on November 4th. But again, lawmakers and congressional Democrats are stressing that this is only going to happen if Texas approves its maps and they end up going forward with these efforts.
Well, other states around the country, they've also been following the steps here from Texas and California. Which states stand out there, and which party can benefit the most?
For now, we can say for certain it's Texas and California that have actually proposed maps, each one determining who would be affected by this and who could make gains here. Now, it's hard to say at this moment which party is going to end up benefiting, but we do know that for Democrats, it does represent additional challenges because some blue states have independent commissions. It's not so easy for them to just go in and make these new lines for their congressional districts. But we know that there are at least 7 states, either blue or red, that have expressed interest or intentions to redraw their congressional districts. And this, of course, includes Florida and Ohio, that is also set to redistrict their congressional districts. So we know.
So what you've got is you've got Newsom basically saying, okay, so Texas did this, which Texas has a right to do. And Texas is allowed to do this via their legislature. Newsom, who basically has independent redistricting commissions in California, which are staffed by, let's face it, 5 uber left liberal Democrats and 5 rhino TDS Republicans. So they don't face a whole lot of pushback from the independent commission, but they're only allowed to do it every 10 years. And that's part of the state constitution. So you've got Newsom trying to get a special election called for this year to propose what would be a ballot measure for the voters to allow him to redistrict mid-decade. Right now, that is only facing a 36% approval among California voters. So he's facing a huge uphill battle. However, his saber rattling and his nonsense vengeance plan has actually gotten other red states to start to go on the offense in this. Now you've got Indiana, you've got Ohio, you've got Texas, and you've got North Carolina talking about they're going to redistrict and they don't have independent commissions. They don't have ballot measures that prevent them from doing this. Indiana could potentially redistrict +1 Republican. Ohio can redistrict +2 Republican. Florida, according to their maps, they can redistrict +5 Republican. North Carolina thinks they can redistrict about +4 Republican. So now you're talking another, let's say, 12 seats. So even if California manages to get a ballot measure through, which looks very iffy at this point, and they can get rid of, and they can go +4 Democrat, you've now got Texas +5, you've got +12 from the other Republicans, that's 17, -4, you've still got a +13 advantage to the Republicans. And if Gavin Newsom goes through with this, it all but assures that those Republican states go on the offense, which means now you're looking not at a 225, to 225 to 210 sort of shakeout in the House, but now you're looking at 230 to 205. It gets even worse. So the Republicans are learning how to play offense. They're learning how to play the game. They're learning how to govern. And if the Republican states pull this off, which Texas already has, they can cement Republican control of the House for decades to come, because they can literally redistrict the Democrats out of power. Because the Republicans, if all the red states go into redistricting, you're looking at a +40 Republican. Right now, the Supreme Court is set to weigh in on race-based gerrymandering and essentially overturn it, which would force all of the states to redraw their lines, getting rid of race-based districting, which will help the Republicans. And it allow the Republican states to essentially redistrict +20 to 40. So they could literally redistrict the Democrats out of House power, therefore out of all branches of government. So they would never have 3 branches of government going generations from now. So this is absolutely amazing news. Let me know what you think in the comments. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. We've got the Republicans absolutely winning, creating just havoc for the Democrats, and the Democrats making lampooning themselves, making fools of themselves.